Kia ora, Lara here, and I am bringing to you a video of the first of Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, series number 9. Today I'm going to be using this sketch that has been shared in the group, and it is one that I'm going to use to sort of document the teachers' snacks at our team meeting that we have started using just to help these meetings go a bit better. At school, at the end of a long day, things are often, you're a bit tired, and discussing things and making plans is sort of not the first thing in your priority list. I'm going to be using the Cake Day collection by Close to My Heart, which just happens to be the March feature collection as well. And I'm also going to bring in a little bit of Smarty Pants, which is a sort of a school-based collection that's available all year in the annual catalogue. So I'm using here a mix-in that was from January, February. Love the spotty paper. I could actually buy a whole pack of just the spotty paper and I'd be quite happy. I'm just going to pull that in there. Now I do sort of centralize this strip down the middle rather than it sort of being over slightly to the right, and I also bump the other bits along so there's slightly more border on the right from what I'm doing. So I'm just trimming this down, and I'm trimming off an inch off the one end so that it's going to sit down about a ½ inch from the top and the bottom. And so you saw before that I had to go back and trim 2 inches off that smaller strip, the black and white spotted strip, and pop that in there just so that it sits a little bit lower. So this sort of the Cake Day collection is meant to be a birthday collection. However, I am using it here in a non-birthday layout on purpose, just so that you can actually see the versatility of a collection. So one side could be quite birthday orientated. Even this paper that I'm using to back my photo here has got happy birthday all over it, but I'm just using it so just some of that blue will peek outside the edges, so it's not screaming, hey, happy birthday. So, and I wanted that sort of lively celebratory type theme because having a snacks basket for our meetings was a way to try and make these meetings less dreary and something to kind of look forward to in some ways at the end of the day, as much as you can anyway. So the sketch here, so I've sort of tied up that sort of layer of the papers and things like that, but I'm going to get these tags. I had a look through my die cut collection to see if I had any tags frames, but I didn't, so I'm pulling out the Cricut Design Space and I am going to bring in some tags. I just do a search for tags and it pulls up a few, and I just grab the free one that's up there on the top right, and I'm going to do 6 of these, but I'm just working out the measurements first, and I decide I want these to be 1.5 inches wide, and that will allow me to fit sort of 6 along the frame, and also it will allow me to cut these out, and I'll show you how I'm going to set these out on my actual Cricut mat shortly. So I'm spacing these so that they sit within the 2-inch mark along the actual Cricut mat here. So I've set that up there, and now I'm going to group them together and attach them so that they are now in one group, so that they'll always print together, which means that I can stick them on the cutting mat like you can sort of see there in their 2-inch strips, 2x3 I think it was, and I sat them along the edge there, so the machine then just went ahead and cut out all 6 of them on 6 different pieces of pattern paper. So I did wonder about using some cardstock here, but I just felt that, hey, I've got these papers out, why not make the most of these and just sort of tuck them in with that colour going on there. So now got the sort of the base layout ready to go, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of sticking down. But before I stick these down, I think actually this background seems a bit plain, so I'm going to bring out the Distress Oxide, and I'm going to bring out some stencils that I think I got in the album workshop with Close to My Heart last year, and I'm just going to blend this colour in to the background. So the colour that I am using is, I think, a peacock one. Yeah, Peacock Feathers is the name of this colour, and I'm doing this both with some bigger dots and some smaller dots just to mix that up a bit, and I'm trying to bunch it out a little bit more centrally So you can see it sort of starts in at the middle, and then it pushes out to the left a little bit as I come down. So just a couple of little random pieces there, and just liking that little bit of a touch and how that comes across and just adds a little bit more interest to what I'm doing. So I'll stick these down and get them placed in on the layout, and then I'm going to wrinkle up the edges a bit, just get my my mixed media mat out of the way, and I mount the photo on that green paper a little bit first, and then my tape runner runs out. So luckily I have a few other tape runners handy, so I can just keep going. So now that spotty paper, which is my favourite, which I told you before, but I do really like that paper, and I would like a whole lot more of it if only the pack came with just that paper. So I'm wrinkling up these edges just to add a little bit more texture. The sketch was quite clean cut, but I love how sketches give us the opportunity to make things our own, change things around a little bit. It's just a sketch. It's kind of like a plan or an idea or a concept. And then I can take that and use it, twist it around, change it, and make it suit what I'm doing. It's a little bit, there's been a bit of debate recently around sketches versus scrap lifting people. And in a way, you could create a sketch from your own layouts or from layouts that other people have done, because it just gives you a design and things that you can trust that actually looks okay because you've already seen it come out. In a way, I treat both of them kind of the same. A scrap lift, though, it might be that there's a technique or a concept that I'm lifting more so than a whole layout. Whereas here, it's the basic design that I'm trying to reflect. And that's the way I approach sketches anyway. And scrapbooking is what you want to make of it and how you want to do it. So it doesn't matter as long as if you are scrap lifting, you're crediting the person that you're lifting. So I'm bringing out the foam alpha here, and you'll notice to the right there I've brought out the School Days collection as well, because I wanted to add sort of the wee floral clusters that were shown in the sketch, but I didn't want to make them floral because that's not really the subject of the layout that I've put together. So after putting team down, I realised that the second part of my title wasn't going to fit using the foam letters, but I really have been enjoying using this alpha lately, which is the marker, the bold marker alphabet, and it just makes for quite a nice font, and it's easy to fussy cut around to then stick on my pages. So I fussy cut that M, just using my wee scissors, and these are fabulous scissors for fussy cutting. I did a little bit of a handy tip about them recently in my YouTube channel, so you can have a look below, or have a look around in my channel to see if you can find that. It was that and the sort of making them not sticky, although these particular scissors don't tend to get sticky because they've got a non-stick tip on them. So I'm pulling out a few of the stickers off the School Days, the Smarty Pants collection, as well as having that fussy cut teacher's paper from the computer screen and having a look at the stickers to see what works. And I do end up pulling out one about passion, because as teachers it would be pretty hard if we didn't have a passion for learning and for seeing our students learn and grow through their education. It would be a pretty tough job, I think, if people didn't have that excitement in seeing learning happen and making learning happen and trying to find ways to make that learning happen that kids will enjoy. Anyway, enough sort of philosophizing about teaching and education. So I'm just noting down here that the snacks basket was just a way to make these after school meetings go a little bit easier, and to give us a little bit more energy to get through them. Now I'm going to pull out some of the pen work, and I'm just going to outline some more of these papers. They just felt like they needed a little bit more definition, and by just using the journaling pen around the edges of these and then also around the edges of the tags, I think just really helps to separate them from the background. And so you can just sort of see that going around and the edges, filling in lots of those little gaps. So I think this is the 0.5 pen tip here, so it's not the fattest one, but it's a good size. So there's these dots here from the Cake Day collection, and I'm just going to use the bluey coloured ones that match the patterned paper that I've picked. And here's a couple of close-ups of what I have created. Linked below will be the other people joining in on creating YouTube videos in advance for each of these sketches, and for other sketches I will be doing these sort of weekly. I did the first one just because it's the first, and you'll see these. Otherwise you'll see all of the lifts that I have done for the 30 days over the month on Instagram. Thanks for watching.